Dave and I have been married 16 years, but we've been together for 23. We live in Groveland, which is a very small farming community just outside of Geneseo, New York. When I met David, he was a first mate on a day sail charter boat in the Virgin Islands. We just really seemed to hit it off. Tried to teach me how to windsurf, not very successfully.
Yeah,
that was my bad.
Fun.
Oh my God, his abs were just fantastic.
Please, now I'm gonna turn around.
I know, I'd love to answer this, but cut this part out.
Perfectly honest with you, she scared the living daylights out of me. It was real. We wound up taking a trip to St. Thomas, the adjacent island, and it turned into what we still refer to as the infamous Lost Weekend.
Yeah.
So it was from that day on, we were pretty much.
It was supposed to be let's catch the ferry to St. Thomas and take in a movie, and it took us 3 days to get back.
Island time, you know.
Island time.
Island time. For the majority of the years, I was a climbing arborist. A climbing arborist is someone actually who will physically get out there and climb a tree. Basically, a crazy man with a chainsaw on the power line. Dangerous, but you mind your P's and Q's and you're all right. I'm still here. I'm from New York, but I was doing some work out in Indiana in a small town. And it was just another job, just another day.
Paramedics were called to the scene where he was working on the tree.
So as we walk up there, we see David laying down on the ground. He's real gray, diaphoretic, sweaty. He'd felt chest pain probably about 20 minutes before he even climbed down and called anybody.
Got Dave in the back of the ambulance, and then we transported and we started heading into Hancock Regional Emergent.
With the first image, you could see that a major artery was completely closed. Opening the artery, his entire heart muscle stopped squeezing. There is no survival in that condition.
Adam was talking to me while they were unsure as to whether or not David was going to pull through. And I remember saying, is he all right? Is he going to die? Is he alive? I really thought I lost him. I was terrified. I try not to think about that. I don't want to think about being without David.
While he is laying there with no blood pressure, you need to start chest compressions immediately. And it took about 10 or 12 minutes of continuous compressions, and the heart picked up again, started squeezing again. The pure physicality of compressing his chest externally from his rib cage was the only treatment to keep him alive.
I was terrified. I literally at that point didn't know what to do. The nurse that was on duty taking care of David literally greeted me with open arms as I came down the hall, gave me this huge hug. I wrote a letter to the CEO because I felt like she was welcoming me into her home.
It's like being in a clinically competent bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
It was, it really was.
Dear Mr. Long, I felt that it was important to write you personally, to tell you that it was a pleasure to have my husband stay at your hospital. I suspect that is not something that you hear often, and I am hoping that you will read this letter in full to find out why I am saying it. I didn't reach the hospital until well after midnight, but I was warmly greeted by Anita, the RN who had been assigned to David. She was not just nursing David, she was nursing me. David has a natural dislike for doctors, kind of like how dogs dislike mailmen. One of the first things he said to me was, "Wait until you meet the doctor, I really like him." David was released that Saturday, and while I can't say that we were reluctant to leave, I can say that we left with some actually fun memories of an experience that was basically dreadful, all due to your fine staff. An incredible letter. That is exactly the way that what we do should be done.
You do have all these people that you don't know, but yet they're with you in such an incredibly personal moment. They suddenly become an integral piece of your life. I wanted somehow to get back to them, to help them understand how significant they are.
If you don't invest yourself in it, like every one of them did, it doesn't come across the same. And that makes all the difference. At least it did for me. You know, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting. My turn, Joe.
If any chain of event delayed within, we're talking about a 5-minute window, he would be dead. And so this was a well-oiled machine that performed.
Because he was in the right place at the right time with the right people, you know, I have to say that I really believe had he been just about anywhere else, the outcome would not have been what it was.
Thought you loved for that. Thank you.
Anita, you took such good care of me when I walked in that night. You have no idea what you did.
Yeah, she hasn't shut up about you.
No. Adam, I just want to adopt. You know?
Which I've got mixed emotions about.
And I guess one of the reasons I wrote the letter is I just want each and every single one of you to know that what you consider daily and routine is huge to the people that are on the receiving end. So what was just a normal phone call, that was huge, Adam. It was huge.
My wife said, talking about the little things. Middle of the night, she comes in doing her job as a tech, you know, and we just had a little conversation. And she was a stranger, but a friend. It's somebody that I didn't have to be guarded with. And that ran with everybody here. And that's what's amazing about you guys. I don't think it sank in really what had happened. It has made me rethink a lot about my life. Certainly don't take it for granted. I'm grateful and thankful every day that I'm here and I'm able to be, you know, living my life with Lori. And what have I been saying? It's gonna take more than dying to kill me. Plain and simple.